Very good evening, my dear future chartered accountants, and I hope you all are doing great and you all are revising whatever is being taught to you in the class, and you are also practicing the questions being taken up here in the LVRC sessions. All right. So, with this, let's start with our chapter number 10 first, and then after the break, we will take chapter 6. Okay. So, chapter 10, very threatening chapter to most of the students, audit of bank. You think it's a very lengthy chapter, but no, after doing it, you realize that it's very interesting. So, I got really good feedback that, ma'am, the chapter was really interesting. Okay. So, let's cover the chapter of questions for chapter 10. All right. Question number 1. Advances generally constitute a major part of the assets of the bank. We all know this, isn't it? There are large number of borrowers to whom variety of advances are granted. Means variety of advances mean to some term loans, to some working capital loans, isn't it? All right. Then the audit of advances require the major attention from the auditors. Yes. Now comes the question. Explain the broad considerations about which the auditor is primarily concerned with obtaining evidences in carrying out the audit of advances. So, the question what is asking is, what considerations should the auditor take into account for obtaining evidences, means for obtaining the proof regarding what kind of advances is there in the bank. Okay, and are the advances being shown at the correct value or not? Are they reflected correctly and properly in the books of accounts of the bank or not? Okay, so what procedures will the auditor do? Okay, so how are we going to start? Advances generally constitute a major part of the assets of the bank. Okay, repeating the question. Okay, in carrying out the audit of advances, the auditor is primarily concerned with obtaining evidences about the following. What is the auditor concerned about? Now, immediately you should be having a clear picture about the balance sheet of the bank. Okay, balance sheet of the bank, advances shown. What is the outstanding amount of balance shown in the balance sheet? Okay, what is the amount due to the bank? All right, then regarding these loans which have been advances, are proper documentation kept? Isn't it? We have studied about documentation with respect to bank, with respect to advances with the bank, as is the deed, is the paper of the property kept with the bank, whatever mortgage, the mortgage has been done properly. Okay, and are all the advances shown completeness? Isn't it? We did the assertion part that all the advances are being shown. There are no advances which are left skipped, isn't it? Omitted. All right, then valuation of these advances, okay, are they appropriate and proper? All right, then are they classified properly or not? We have done the classification of advances also. So are they done properly as per the accounting policy? Are the provisions made as per the RBI norms? We have done standard, substandard, doubtful and loss assets. Okay, and then what are the provisions, what are the percentage, are they applied properly or not? So all these things should immediately come to our mind. Okay, and then you are going to start writing your answer. The points are clear. Now you will start explaining and elaborating these points. Okay, so let's see how the answer goes. Okay, point number 1. Amounts included in the balance sheet in respect of advances which are outstanding as on the date of balance sheet. Balance sheet as on 31st March, for example, 2026. What is the amount outstanding? What is the amount shown as advances in the balance sheet of the bank? All right. Advances represent amount due to the bank, obviously. Okay, because these are this is the money which is due to the bank. The constituent of the bank has to repay it to the bank. Okay, all right. Then amount due to the bank are appropriately supported by loan documents and other documents as applicable to the nature of advances. Are the sanction letter being submitted or not? Is it supported by proper documentation with respect to property being mortgaged or hypothecated? Okay, the deeds and all whether properly kept or not. All right, then there are no unrecorded advances. There are no advances which are omitted from the balance sheet. not shown in the balance sheet as advances. All right. I once gave you an example of there was a difference between the amount shown as advances in the balance sheet and the total of the advance sheet. We had discussed this example in the class, all right, that advance sheet shown a balance of rupees say 30 cr, but in the balance sheet it was around 35 cr. So this was a discrimination. All right. Okay. Then the stated basis of valuation of advances is appropriate and proper. How are you valuing the advances? Okay. Applied and recoverability of advances is recognized in their valuation. How was advance going to be recovered? What are the terms and conditions of the recoverability? Okay. Then the advances disclosed, classified and described. How are you classifying the advances? Are under what category? Okay, with recognized accounting practices and policies and relevant statutory and regulatory requirements, means as per the RBI norms. Okay, Basel 3 we have done. Okay, so those should be properly dealt with. Then appropriate provisions towards advances have been made as per RBI norms, accounting standards and generally accepted accounting principles. So whatever this outstanding balances, provision accordingly has been made. Loss, doubtful, standard, substandard, all the provisioning should be very proper in terms of the percentage applied. Okay, all right. We will be doing the practical application of the questions and provisioning also. Okay, so again, how to recall them? What are the considerations which the auditor should keep into mind while obtaining evidences? Number one, advance outstanding as on the balance sheet date. Amount due to the bank is to be classified as advances. The loan documents, there are no unrecorded advances. Valuation is done appropriately and properly. Disclosure, classification and description of the advances are being as per the accounting policy and provision made as per the RBI norms. Okay, so this is how we are going to elaborate the answers. For example, it comes for 3 to 4 marks. Please try to write at least 5 points. All right, I hope they are easy points and you will be able to recall because you remember those points. Okay, is it clear to all of you? Is this answer clear to all of you? Should we proceed? All right, coming to the next question. Yes, वॉइस कम आ रही है. ओके, ठीक है. ओके, ऑल राइट, अभी ठीक है. ओके. Question number 2. During the audit of Smile Bank, CA Sweetie focused on the understanding the risk management process of the bank. Okay, so you know what is the basic risk of the bank? Hmm? What is the risk to the bank? The advances which it has given. Okay, the risk is non-recoverability of those advances, isn't it? Okay, she reviewed how management developed the controls and used performance indicators to monitor key business and financial risks. Okay, CA Sweetie also assessed whether the risk management system effectively identified and mitigated the risk in required area, means the controls over these risks are properly implemented and they are able to identify and prevent the risks. Okay, this is the whole idea of this question, isn't it, that whether proper controls with respect to these risks are implemented, and when they are implemented, are they able to identify and mitigate the risk, lower the risk? Okay, how should CA Sweetie evaluate the adequacy of bank's risk management control? How adequate is the risk management controls under the bank? Is the control being proper, appropriate? Will it be able to prevent, detect and correct the risks? Okay, mitigate the risk. Okay, all right. Now see, how are we going to write the answer? First, quickly just jot the roadmap. Okay, that what were the things that we had to evaluate? How will you as an auditor evaluate the risk? Now, what things come under risk? Hmm? first come to this, that there should be reliability of the information system. The information system that you are using, okay, should be reliable. If it gets corrupt, control should be there for the information system, very important. Then there should be monitoring of these activities. The activities should be well monitored. Only then only will you be able to mitigate the risk. Activities should be controlled. There should be a controlled environment. What kind of control environment? Appropriate controls to mitigate the risk. Okay, for which what did we do? We did the segregation of duties. If you remember, the back office duty and the front office duty, isn't it? I told you that when you go to the bank, there is a beautiful person sitting on the reception to whom you talk, and then will he or she be the person to sanction your loan? No, it will be sanctioned through the back office. So there is a segregation of duty. Okay, then reporting, verification, approval of transactions, and also if there were approval of exceptions. For example, the bank had only the limit to sanction till 20 lakhs, but you want 25 lakhs. So this is an exception. So can bank sanction this? Okay, so these exception and physical security and contingency planning also we have to see. Then, how will you identify and measure the risks? Okay, this also you have to see, that you have to identify and measure the risk. And then you as a risk management personnel, what will you do? Oversight and involvement in the control process by the governance. The people who are in the we all know that there is usually a different risk management, what you call the team. Risk management team is separate. So oversight and involvement in the control process by those governing people. Okay, so how did we remember this? The micro M stood for monitoring activities. I stood for identification, measurement and monitoring of risk. C for control activities. R for reliable information system, and O for oversight and involvement in the control process by those charged with governance. This is how we had remembered these points. Okay. So let's see. Do you remember micro or not? Number one, oversight and involvement in the control process by those charged with governance. Okay, but see, if you remember these points, it will be very easy for you to elaborate. No need that you write the inside portion of these points to the point. No, not required. You just remember the points, you elaborate. Okay, you can explain in your own words, but obviously the content should be related to what you have written the heading for. Okay, it is not that you are writing oversight and involvement and you are writing uh, underneath it the control activities. No. Okay, because again the control activity point you have. Okay, so those charged with governance should approve the risk management policies. I told you there's a team. Okay, so they will approve the written risk management policies. What are the policies which the bank has made to mitigate the risk, to control the risk? Okay, the policy should be consistent with the business objective. Okay, what is the objective of the bank? Lending and accepting deposits, isn't it? And strategies, capital strength, management expertise, regulatory requirement, and types and amount of risk it regards as acceptable. How much risk can the bank accept? The tolerable risk. Okay, all right. Then identification, measurement and monitoring of risk. Very important. You identify what is the risk. You measure, is it acceptable or not? Is it tolerable or not? Okay, and then you monitor it. Okay, so risk that could significantly impact the achievement of bank's goal should be identified, measured and monitored against the pre-approved limits and criteria. All right, then control activities. Banks should have an appropriate controls to mitigate its risk, including effective segregation of duty, particularly between the front office and back office, accurate measurement and reporting of positions, verification and approval of transactions. Whatever transactions are happening, are they verified? Are they approved? Are they authorized by the competent person? For example, just a sanctioning of check. When you go to the bank, you deposit the check or you hand over the check. The authorized person, he puts a stamp, he signs, and then it is gone for the clearing. Or if you wish to deposit the money, you take in the you just give the plain slip book and then you hand it over to the concerned person. What does he do? He signs the slip and then he returns the counterfoil to you, isn't it? So is it approved by the appropriate person or not? Reconciliation and position and results. Setting up limits. What limits can the bank accept? Okay. Reporting and approval of exceptions. When exception are being approved, you have to also report the same. Physical security and contingency planning. In case of any contingency, you have to plan for the same. All right. Then monitoring activities. Risk management models, methodologies and assumptions used to measure and mitigate the risk should be regularly assessed and updated. Whatever controls you have implemented, it should be updated from time to time. Okay, like CBS comes. So now everything happening through this CBS. Okay, suppose any earlier you used to know that it used to take 3 days for a check to clear, but now it is approved on a real time basis. So all these things you have to be updated with. This function may be conducted by the independent risk management unit. All right. Reliable information system, very important. Whatever information system you are using, it should be reliable. Just imagine bank getting a request from another bank, but it's a fake request. So you know what will happen, isn't it? The circumstances and after effect of the one wrong transaction can lead to a crisis. Okay, all right. So bank require reliable information system that provide adequate financial operation and compliance information on a timely and consistent basis. You just know if a system of the bank is just shut down or is slow, what happens? The entire economy suffers, okay, just because the system, the server is down. You try to GPay through your UPI, okay, what happened? Server error. What panic is created? So just imagine the information, the system, information system that the bank is using should be very, very reliable, okay. Then those charged with governance and management require risk management information that is easily understood and that enables them to access the changing nature of bank's risk profile. Okay, so the question demanded, what was the question asking for? How should CA evaluate adequacy of bank's risk management controls? Okay, so immediately let's quickly revise. Monitoring activities, identification, measurement and monitoring of risk. Then MI, C for control environment, R for reliable information system and O stood for oversight and involvement in the control process by TCWG. Isn't it? Okay. So is it clear? Will you remember these points as micro? If you remember, otherwise if you have some other technique to remember, very well. All right. Is it clear, dear students? Okay. I can see Gayatri is here. Okay. All right. Gayatri, have you understood? Okay. All right. Next question. Mahavir and Associates is appointed as a statutory auditor of KBC Bank for the financial year 23-24. During the audit, Ms. Chandana, an article trainee, noticed that Siddharth Industry had an outstanding loan of 50 lakhs as on March 31st, 24. Okay. On March 29th, 24, company made a payment of 10 lakhs, reducing the loan balance to 40 lakhs. Okay. However, on 4th of April, Siddharth Industries initiated a reversal transaction of 8 lakhs, increasing outstanding loan balance back to 48 lakhs. Okay. The payment and subsequent reversal occurred within a short period. with the final outstanding balance remaining to be rupees 48 lakhs after the reversal. Considering scenario, what should be the response of Mahavir and associates to this matter, particularly regarding the classification of borrower's account and potential risk of its slipping into NPA category? I request you all to read this question very properly. We have done a similar kind of question in our class, okay, and this was regarding the circumstances where an auditor has to be extra cautious and alert. See what is happening, just read it once yourself and then I will explain you. I'm giving you time, I'm giving you a minute to read. Please read the questions yourself, dear students. So what is happening? There is an outstanding balance of 50 lakhs. But just immediately before the year end, what is this industry, Siddharth Industries doing? They are depositing 10 lakhs. Okay. And again, because the bank manager or the bank official must have told them, see, auditor is going to come and he will see that there are no credits in your account. Okay, so for 90 days, okay, and then he's going to make your account NPA, so you please deposit and after that you can take. So he deposited, and immediately in the next year, the new financial year, in April, 4th of April, he took back 8 lakh rupees. So 10 lakh deposited, 8 lakh taken back. So basically just 2 lakhs deposited against this outstanding of 50 lakhs. So again that loan standing at rupees 48 lakhs. So what is actually happening? There is a kind of regularization of the account near the balance sheet date. You are trying to make the account regular, standard. But is it actually a regular account? No. This is what you have to understand, isn't it? Okay. So how are you going to write? Accounts regularize near the balance sheet date. You are trying to make the account clean and regular near the balance sheet date so that the auditor thinks that it is not NPA. Okay. But actually what is happening? It is an NPA. Okay. So the asset classification of borrower accounts where a solitary or a few credits are recorded before the balance sheet date should be handled with care without the scope of subjectivity. Where the accounts indicate inherent weakness on the basis of data available, the account should be deemed as NPA. Now see what have the auditor to see. The auditor should check for sample transaction immediately before the closing of the financial year and immediately after the closing of the financial year to opening of the financial year to get a knowledge of the objective behind the transaction. If they have any relation to each other in the borrower accounts, or if any some transactions are being reversed during the first few days after the closing, which might show an arrangement to prevent the borrower's account from slipping into NPA. So what is actually happening? There is an arrangement happening between the borrower and the bank officials that listen, you deposit this money and after that you can just take it back. Okay, otherwise your account will be NPA. So in the given case of Siddharth Industries, the payment of rupees 10 lakhs was made on 29th March, reducing the outstanding balance to 40 lakhs and subsequently reversed by 10 lakhs on 4th of April. Thus, Mahavir and Associates should carefully assess the classification of Siddharth Industries account and determine if the payment and reversal transaction indicate an attempt to prevent account from slipping into NPA category. He has to be cautious that if it is just for the sake of, just window dressing it or making it a regular account to show it is a regular account. If yes, the account should be classified as NPA in compliance with regulatory guidelines. Okay, so you know when it becomes NPA. Okay, no payment for 90 days, credits not enough to serve the debits. Okay, so all these things you should be knowing. Okay, is this question clear? It was a good question. Was it clear to all of you? Was it clear to all of you? Okay, all right. Okay, next question. During the course of statutory branch audit, now you all know by now what is concurrent or internal audit and what is statutory audit. Statutory audit is when the external auditor comes and it's an annual audit, okay, of a nationalized bank. CA Amrish is performing audit procedures in relation to advances. He has verified the selected samples of borrower accounts representing advances and found nothing unusual. He said it's fine. All the accounts are regular, okay. In a banking environment, there exists documentary evidence containing observation and comments on advances which can be useful to statutory bank auditor in performing an effective audit. Okay, the question is asking you to list, to mention few such documentary evidences which can be used by Amrish. So Amrish is saying that sample selection is fine, but from where else can he get the knowledge of the advances? I told you, he will see to the previous year's audit report. Okay. Then he will see to the latest inspection report of the bank. Was any inspection done? And what were the observations of those inspector? Was he demanding some kind of documents? Was he saying that no, some documents are missing in few cases? Then RBI's latest inspection report, concurrent audit or internal audit report, whosoever is coming for the monthly audit, concurrent audit, that report, because he will be knowing much more than you have come for the annual reason. Okay, you have come annually, at the year end you have come, but one who is coming every month and checking things, he will be knowing better. Okay, so his report to be taken into account. Report on verification of security, the security against which the advances have been made, verification of them. Okay, any other internal report specially related to a particular account for which advances were made. Then manager's charge handing over report with incumbent is changed. Means when your current official is changed, whosoever was there, if he is changed and he has handed over the charge to someone else, that should also be taken, because maybe the person who has come is not aware of what account advances are dealing with. Okay, so what we have to remember: previous year, internal, latest inspection report, RBI latest inspection report, verification of reports, verification of securities report, other internal reports, and managers handing over, charge handing over when incumbent is changed, when the current official is changed. Okay, he must have told something to the new official that see, this particular accounts have to be taken due care of. Okay, is it clear? So let's quickly revise once again. What documentary evidence can he make use? Previous year's audit report, latest internal inspection report, RBI's latest inspection report, concurrent or internal report, report on verification of security, any other internal report related to any particular account, or manager's charge handing over report, when incumbent is changed. So out of these points, any 5 points, 4 to 5 points you should remember and jot down on your exam. Clear, dear students? Is it clear to all of you? Are you able to recall things, whatever we had done? All right. Okay. Now comes a question like this. See, I told you never be afraid of such questions coming in your audit paper, because they will be very, very easy. Okay, never be afraid of such statement being drawn there, because we have done such kind of questions and you are now familiar with it. We have also taken up from the study material and also few questions from our side, isn't it? Okay, so just check this. National Bank has advanced a cash credit CC facility to of 25 lakhs to Sun Industries. Now you know, when CC is given, what things have to be seen, isn't it? When does it become out of order? Okay, isn't it? In case of OD and CC. So immediately all these terminologies should come to your mind. Okay, then following is the extract of accounts of Sun Industries reflected in CBS of a branch bank from December 1, 23 to 31st March 24. Now, have a look at this statement. All of you, have a look at this statement and then I will ask you the question. So, you have to make sure what things to recollect, drawing a roadmap in your mind, that when does an account become out of order in respect of CC or OD? When does it become? When the outstanding balance remain in excess of the sanctioned limit or drawing power, isn't it? The outstanding balance is continuously in excess of the sanctioned limit or drawing power. Number two, when outstanding balance in the principal account is less than the sanction limit, but there are no credit continuously for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet. First, amount outstanding is more than the sanction limit or drawing power. Second, the amount outstanding is less than the sanction limit or drawing power, but no credit for 90 days, continuously for 90 days as on the balance sheet date. Third, credits are there, but they are not enough to cover the debits, the interest debited during the same period. Do you remember these 3 points? Let's quickly revise again. Amount outstanding is in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power. Then second point, amount outstanding is less than the sanction limit or drawing power, but no credits continuously for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet. Third, credits are there, but not enough to cover the interest debited, isn't it? Now you have to see which case is applicable here, or is it applicable or not. Okay, so who will tell me what case is applicable? Is it becoming out of order or not? Let's read the question further. The question is not yet completed. The drawing power during the said period is consistent at 25 lakhs. Okay. The account was classified as standard asset as on 31st December in the books of bank. The security charged with the bank remains intact throughout the period. Comment on the asset classification. Is the classification done by the bank correct? Is it standard? Let me see who answers this question. Is the approach of the bank correct? No. Okay. Then what should it be? The approach of the bank is not correct. What should it be? What should it be? Let me see who remember. No, Gayatri. See, you cannot write NPA. You have to tell classification. What category is it falling? Okay, this will not be marked as correct. They are saying that they have marked as standard. Is it standard? Is it standard? It has slipped into substandard. Let's see how. In accordance with RBI norms on asset classification, a non-performing asset is a loan or advances where the account remains out of order in respect of overdraft or cash credit if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power. Number two, in case where the outstanding balance in the principal operating account is less than the sanction limit and drawing power, but no credit continuously for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet. Credits are there, but not enough to cover the interest debited during the same. In the given case, although the outstanding balance is less than the sanction limit, see, sanction limit is 25. Okay, outstanding balance, just check. Balance, it is obviously less than 25 lakhs. We can see it, isn't it? It is less. But you see, for 90 days, there are no credits. So under the second situation, it becomes a substandard asset, isn't? It's the given case. It is within the drawing power, okay, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days as on the balance sheet date. Therefore, it becomes out of order and is required to classified as NPA. Now, under what category? Under non-performing asset, it should be classified as substandard as it remained NPA for a period of less than equal to 12 months. Okay, is it clear? Gayatri, is it now clear to you? You have to mention what classification, okay? Yes, yes. That can be given, but here the question was demanding only with respect to the classification. Had it been they have made certain provision and was asking you was the provision made by the bank correct, then you would have answered likewise. Okay? All right. Next question. Messrs. JKL and Associates Chartered Accountants are the statutory auditors of Messrs. IBS Bank Limited for the financial year 24-25. Okay. During the audit, they observed the following items included under the interest income in the financial statement of the bank. Okay. An amount of 5 lakhs relating to short-term crop loan where the installment was overdue for one crop season. Now you have to remember, for short term crop season, what is the amount, what is the season like? It is one crop season or two crop season. If it is overdue for two crop season, then it becomes NPA. Okay, here it is overdue for just one crop season. Okay, an amount of 7 lakh relating to an advance guaranteed equally by Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu. Okay, now we know when it is guaranteed by the central government, then it doesn't become NPA. Okay, but here 50% is guaranteed by central government and 50 by state. So state case we don't entertain. We only say, oh, if it is backed by the central government guarantee, then it is not NPA. But state government backing up guarantee will become NPA, isn't it? Do you all remember this or not? Unless it is invoked and repudiated. Do you remember that? In case the advance is guaranteed by central government, it need not be classified as NPA. This is what we have done. Okay, until the guarantee is invoked and repudiated. So here it is equally, means 50% by central government and 50% by the state government. Are you all understanding? 3.5 lakhs by central government and 3.5 by the state. So state government advance will be considered as NPA if it remains overdue for more than 90 days. Okay. For both provisioning as well as for the income recognition purpose, it will be considered as NPA. Okay. Now, from above facts and details, what should be the correct treatment of the above interest income in the bank's financial statements? State the amount that can be recognized as interest income with appropriate reasoning. Also determine the amount to be classified as NPA with reference to applicable RBI norm. Okay, so what is going to happen? Come on. See, when you know the answer, it's there in your mind, you can easily write the answer now. See, classification of NPA and treatment of interest income. For short-term crop season, as per RBI norms, a loan granted for short duration crop is to be classified as NPA only if the installment remains overdue for two crop season. But here it was overdue for just one crop season, isn't it? In the given case, installment was overdue for one crop season. Hence, the account should not be classified as NPA. Therefore, the interest income of 5 lakhs, isn't it? Amount of 5 lakhs relating to short-term crop loan will be recognized as interest income in the financial statement. What do we do? If it is recognized, if it is classified as NPA, then we reverse the interest income. You remember it or not? But here it is not classified as NPA because it is overdue for just one crop season, isn't it? Okay, so here it will not be considered as NPA and the interest of 5 lakh will be considered in the financial statement. Okay, now advance guaranteed equally by Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu. If an advance is guaranteed by a central government, it need not be classified as NPA until the guarantee is invoked and repudiated. You have to write this word, unless invoked and repudiated. Thus, central government guaranteed advances where the guarantee is not invoked or repudiated would be classified as standard asset, but as regard as NPA for income recognition. For income recognition, we will treat it as NPA. Do you remember this or not? For classification, we do not treat it as NPA, but for income recognition, we treat it as NPA. The situation would be different if the advance is guaranteed by the state government, where the advance is not, the advance is to be considered as NPA if it remains overdue for 90 days for both provisioning as well as income. Do you remember this? For central government income purpose, we will treat it as NPA, but not for provisioning or classification. Okay. In the given case, since the guarantee is shared equally between the central government and the state government, the installment is overdue for more than 6 months. Let's see. It says it is overdue for more than 6 months. Okay. Then the portion of loan guaranteed by the central government, that is 50%, is not to be classified as NPA, but unless the guarantee is invoked and repudiated. The remaining 50%, which is guaranteed by state government, must be classified as NPA as the installment is overdue for 90 days. So here the amount to be classified as NPA will be 3.5 lakhs. 50% of 7 lakhs, isn't it? And the amount of interest income to be recognized will be 5 lakhs. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear, dear students? Did you understand the question? I am showing you the question once again. See, with respect to short-term crop loan, we treat it as NPA if it is overdue for more than 2 crop seasons. But here it is just overdue for 1 crop season, hence it is not NPA. So interest income will be recognized as 5 lakhs. Very well. Okay, then with regard to this loan which is guaranteed partially by central government and partially by state government. So the portion of state government, that is 50% of 7 lakh, will be treated as NPA. Why? Because it is overdue for more than 6 months. Is it clear to all of you? Come on students, write to me in the chat box. Is it clear? All right. Coming to the next question. Agrib, a CA student is part of engagement team conducting audit of Madurai branch of ARB Bank. CA Bhuvan, the engagement partner, has asked him to verify provisions made by the branch as on March 31st, 24 in respect of following NPAs. Okay. Now, the provisioning part. Name of the account, AK Industries, Jupiter Traders, VT and Company, ASD and Sons. NPA classification for AK Industries, it is doubtful. That too under D1 category. Jupiter, it is a substandard. VT and Company, D2, doubtful. ASD and Sons, loss assets. Amount outstanding is this much and the amount of provision made is 5, 7.5, 30 and 1. Okay, I'm giving you time. The engagement partner has already verified NPA classification. Outstanding amounts as on 31st March 24 relating to each NPA account listed above are fully secured. However, only personal guarantee of proprietor, net worth of proprietor, that is 50 lakh, is available in account of ASD and Sons. Comment on the correctness of the above provision. Okay, the provision made, and they are also saying that the net worth is this much. Agrim is in dilemma regarding classification of above account as NPA, although these are fully secured or guaranteed. Now, I'm giving you time, just check out the provision, calculate yourself and see. We know for substandard, what is the provisioning? It is 15%. For doubtful, if it is doubtful up to 1 year, the D1 category, for the secured portion, it is 25%. Okay. If it is doubtful for 1 to 3 years, that is the D2 category. For secured portion, the provisioning is 40%. And for D3 category, which is doubtful for more than 3 years, it is 100%. For loss asset also, it is 100%. And for D1 and D2 category, for the unsecured portion, it is 100% each. Do you remember this? 15, 25, 40, 100, 100 and 100 for the unsecured part. Is this provisioning okay to all of you? You remember this? And now if you remember this, quickly apply. First in case of AK industry. See, this is how you have to write in the exam. Point number 1, AK industry. Now, let me see just a minute. Okay. Okay, I've got the answer. Let me see. Okay, let's do it first. Number 1, AK Industries. You see, has been classified as D1. It requires a provision of 25% of the amount. That is 25% of 10 lakhs, the outstanding amount. That comes to 25% of 10 lakh is 2.5 lakhs. But the provision made is 5 lakhs. How much it should be? It should be 2.5 lakhs. Okay. So it is not correct. Number 2, Jupiter Trader. It has been classified as substandard. Okay. Now for substandard, what have you to say? It is 15% of 50 lakhs outstanding balance. What it should be? It should be 7.5. And what they have made? 7.5. So the provision made by the branch is correct. Number 3, VT and Company. It has been classified as doubtful under D2 category. It requires a provision of 40% of the secured portion. That is, for 30 lakhs, it is 40% of 30 lakhs, that comes to 12 lakhs. And what have they made? It is 30 lakhs. So it should not be 30 lakhs. Instead, it should be 12 lakhs. For ASD and Sons, it is a loss asset. So outstanding ka 100%. 1 ka 100%, that comes to 1. So it is correct. Is this much portion clear to all of you? 2.5 and where is it coming from? It is 12. 12. Okay. Okay. All right. So now what have you to say? That the classification and also what they are saying. Just listen to the second part of the question. Agrim is in dilemma regarding classification. Although these are fully secured and guaranteed, now you have to that the amount, the classification of NPA is based on a record of recovery. How are you recovering? Here, the net worth or the security availability is not to be taken into account for the purpose of treating advances as NPA. For NPA, you will not see the net worth is this much or the security or the guarantee is this. You do not see. You just, it is based on the record of recovery. How regular are you recovering the amount? Okay. Hence, these accounts should be classified as NPA on the record of recovery, although these are fully secured or guaranteed. This you have to mention. Let's see how the solution goes. Auditor is required to ensure that provision for NPA is made as per its classification in different categories. Now, even if you do not make this chart or do not write this in exam, it is perfectly fine. Okay. But here, for your understanding, they have given 15%, 25%, 40, 100 and 100. Okay. Now, you straight away write your answer. It can be concluded that in case of AK Industries, there should be, this require provision of 25% of 10 lakhs, which should be 2.5 lakhs instead of 5 lakhs. Jupiter Trader, it has been classified as substandard. It requires a provision of 15%. 15% of 50 comes to 7.5. Hence, the provision made by the bank is correct. VT and Company. It has been classified as doubtful. It requires a provision of 40%. 40% of 30 lakhs, 12 lakh instead of 30 lakhs. Again, it is wrong. ASD and Sons, it has been classified as loss. 100% of 1 lakh, that comes to, and hence the provision made by the bank is correct. Now, classification as NPA should be based on record of recovery. Availability of security or net worth of the borrower or guarantor is not to be taken into account for the purpose of treating advance as NPA or otherwise. Hence, these accounts have been classified as NPA on the record of recovery, although they are fully secured or guaranteed. Easy? Was it easy? Okay. Next question is a repeat question. Interest income 5 lakhs and 7 lakhs. Overdue for one crop season and equally by the government of India and government of Tamil Nadu. You know the answer. Okay. Now, coming to the next question. Compute the drawing power of cash credit limit granted to S Limited by Trust Bank for the month of March 2025 from the following information. Now, see, value of stock, debtors, value of creditors, sanction limit. You should be knowing how to calculate the drawing power, computation of drawing power. Okay. Margin of stock they have given is 20% and debtors, margin on debtors they have given as 50%. Okay. Then they say debtors older than 3 months are ineligible for the calculation of DP, that we will subtract. Okay. So, you know, roadmap is clear to you how to calculate drawing power. You take the value of stock, you minus the creditors, isn't it? There you get the value of the paid stock, whatever stock you have paid for. Okay. Less margin, whatever is given in the question, it is 20%. That comes one drawing power. Second, for debtors, what do? We take the debtors amount, we less from it the debtors exceeding 90 days, that is 3 months, which are ineligible for the calculation of DP. It is very well said. So, we will deduct this 5,000. Then we come to certain amount. From there, we will subtract the margin of 50%. That we get another drawing power. So, drawing power from stock, drawing power from debtors. Together we add, we get a drawing power. Okay. Okay, the total drawing power we get. So, let's see how the solution goes. Value of stock is 50,000. Less the creditors, 15,000, we get 35,000. Less the margin of 20%, we get 28,000 as our drawing power. Okay. For debtors, we have 45,000. Less ineligible debtors, 5,000, we get 40,000. Less margin, we get 20,000. So, total drawing power 28,000 plus 40,000, we get 45,000. Here the sanction limit given in the question is, sanction limit given is 45,000. So, what will be the sanction limit? What will be the sanction limit? Come on, tell me. What should be the sanction limit? Sanction limit given in the question is 45,000. Drawing power coming to 48,000. So, the sanction limit will be restricted to 45,000 and not 48,000. Do you remember this or not? Yes. Okay. So, sanction limit will be restricted to 45,000 and not 48,000. The sanction limit given in the question is 45,000, whereas the drawing power as per the working capital is 48 lakhs. Accordingly, the drawing power per CC limit granted to S Limited by Trust Bank for the month of March would be restricted to 45,000. This is how you have to write your answer. You show the calculation and then you conclude saying that it should be restricted to 45,000. Is it clear to all of you? Is the solution clear? You should be thorough with the computation of DP. Okay. All right. Clear. Next question. K Limited is availing a cash credit limit of 25 crores from LMN Bank Limited. The drawing power of the company range between 22 crores to 25 crores during the year 23-24. Okay. The limit availed by the company remained less than 20 CR during all the days of the financial year 23-24. The company has not deposited any amount in the cash credit and there are no other credits to this account during the last 2 quarters, means more than 90 days. How will this account be classified in the books of LMN Bank Limited as on 31st March 24? Explain. Easy question. See, how will you write? You will first explain when does an account become out of order in case of OD and CC. So you will again mention if the outstanding balance remain continuously in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power. Number two, if it is very much within the limit of outstanding, if the outstanding balance is very much within the limit of drawing power or sanction limit, but there are no credits for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet. Or the third condition, where the credits are there but they are not enough to cover the interest debited during the year, okay, during the same period rather. So these accounts will be treated as out of order. This much should be very clear to you. Okay, you see, again repeating such kind of question means it is important. Okay, so let's see how to proceed with the answer. An account should be treated as out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power, or in cases where the outstanding balance in principal operating account is less than the sanction limit or drawing power, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet, or credits are there but not enough to cover the interest debited during the same period. These accounts should be treated as out of order. Okay. So, in the given case, K Limited is availing cash credit of 25 crores from LMN Bank Limited, and the drawing power of the company ranged between 22 CR to 25 CR during the year 23-24. The limit availed by K Limited remained less than 20 CR, yes, during all these days of the financial year 23-24, and the company has not deposited any amount in the cash credit account, and there are no other credits to this account during the last 2 quarters. So what are you doing? You are, as it is, explaining the question itself. You're repeating the question itself. Okay. Thus, the account should be treated as out of order in the books of LMN Bank as the outstanding balance in the principal operating account, that is 20 crores, is less than the sanction limit, where the drawing power was between 22 to 25, but there were no credits continuously for 90 days. Why? Because they said last 2 quarters. So obviously it is more than 90 days as on the date of balance sheet. Hence, it is to be classified as NPA. I'm giving you time. Please go through this question again yourself. See, is there anything that you fail to understand? Look properly. Is it clear? Can we proceed? No, Gayatri, no need to classify. No need to classify. Okay. See, you have to see what the question is actually demanding. The question simply says that is it out of order? You say yes, it is out of order. What are the conditions that it is out of order? You mention that. Clear? All right. Okay. Next question. But they asked as how will you classify? Just a minute. Let me check. Okay, they are saying as how will it be classified. So you are saying it is out of order and you want to classify as at substandard, isn't it? Isn't it, Gayatri? This is what your question is. Okay. Yes, you can write then. Yes, you can write. Okay. All right. Next question. You are the auditor of Plus Bank Limited. The bank has made the following provisions for the year ended on 31st March 24. Provision for bad debt 66, provision for substandard 78 CR, provision for expenses and provision for income tax. Okay, you are in the process of verifying the provisions and contingencies of the bank. What audit procedures will you apply to verify the above? Now see, on the first hand, you could just prima facie see and you would think that it is asking for whether the provisions made correct or not. Okay, but see what the question is asking. The question is just asking a very direct question, that approach and procedures to adopt while verifying the provisions and contingencies alone. We had done a portion regarding verification of provisions and contingencies. Do you remember? Audit of provisions and contingencies. Any one of you, do you remember? Where we had to ensure about the compliances for various regulatory requirements and its provisioning. Isn't it? We have to obtain an understanding of how the bank computes the provision of standard and non-performing assets. Isn't it? How is the bank understanding and computing the provision? Do you remember all these points? Then you take a detailed breakup of substandard, standard, doubtful and loss assets, or you can also say standards and NPA, and whether they agree with the balances and the general ledger or not. Pure practical, isn't it? We had discussed in detail that you will ask the bank, okay, show me, give me the advance sheet of the sheet of the advances, their standard, substandard, doubtful, loss, and the NPAs are there. Okay, then you show me how have you computed. Then you obtain the tax provision computation from the bank, isn't it? And you see what are the items debited and credited to profit and loss account. Are there any tax provision to be considered? Is there any provision to be made? Examine provision for expenses, whether the provision for rent which is to be paid is made or not, isn't it? Do you remember all these points? So you have to see any provision for expenses, provisions for electricity expenses, whether made or not, isn't it? And you discuss whether the provision made is adequate or not. How will you do that? By discussing and obtaining an explanation from the bank official himself. Okay, what query have I received? Just let me check. Yes, yes. So there are more points to it. Okay, let's see how the answer goes. For audit of provision and contingencies, the auditor should ensure the compliance for various regulatory requirements for provisioning as contained in various circulars have been fulfilled. Means whether the provisions have been made properly or not. Okay. Then obtain an understanding as to how the bank computes the provision of standard and non-performing assets. It will primarily include checking the basis of classification of loan. Means how is the loan being classified, whether standard, substandard, doubtful or loss. And receivables into standard, substandard, doubtful, loss and non-performing assets. The auditor may verify the loan classification on sample basis. Very fair enough. He is not going to check each and every account on sample basis. He is going to check. All right. Then obtain a detailed breakup of standard and non-performing, and you see that whether they agree to the outstanding balances with the general ledger or not. Means you ask for the sheet, and like I told you, in the balance sheet advances figure coming something else, in the advance sheet it is something else. Okay, so this you have to make sure of. Okay, then you obtain the tax provision computation. You ask the bank official, please show me how have you computed the provisioning of the taxation, okay, from the bank's management, and verify the nature of items debited and credited to profit and loss. Why? Because only after that only you will get to know about the provision to be made. After all the expenses and the income, you will get to know what is the uh, profit and what is the provision to be made for that. Okay, to ascertain the same is appropriately considered in the tax provision computation or not. Then you examine the other provisions for expenses through circumstances warranting the provisions and adequacy of the same. How? By discussing and obtaining the explanation from the bank management. Okay, so quickly let's revise. Let's revise quickly that how are you to audit for the provisions and contingencies. Okay, first you will see whether the compliances of various regulatory requirements are dealt with properly or not. You will obtain the understanding as to how the bank has computed the provisions, okay, on what? On standard assets and non-performing assets. You will see whether the classification of these loans are done properly or not into standard, substandard, doubtful, loss and non-performing assets. Then detailed breakup, like we take the list of advances and you compare it with the general ledger. So we will ask for the detailed breakup of standard loans and non-performing loans, and you will see whether they agree with the outstanding balance in the general ledger or not. Isn't it? This is how we will compare the general ledger and what's mentioned there. Then you obtain the tax provision computation. You ask the bank management, you ask the bank official, sir, please let me know how have you computed the provision for taxation. And how will you see that? Only after verifying the items which are debited and credited in the PL account, all the incomes credited and all the expenses debited. Only then you will get to know what is the profit, and based on that provision for taxation will be made. Isn't it? So you ask the bank official, sir, may I please see how have you calculated the provision for taxation. Then you will also examine for other provisions, like I told you, provision for your electricity bill, provision for your rent. Are the provision for these expenses properly dealt with by the bank officials or not? And how will you see that? You will discuss. Lot of things happen, I told you, over a cup of coffee. So you discuss with the bank management. Okay, you discuss with the official and obtain explanation from the bank official regarding the provisions. Just you have just walked in for the audit and you are having a cup of tea and having a chat with the official, like I told you, that okay sir, is the premises yours or is it lease? Basically generally it is a lease premises. Then you say okay, rent is dealt with at the head office, who provides a depreciation dealt at the head office. So you all over this chat you get to know that okay sir, you must have made the provision for these expenses, isn't it? Are the provision being properly dealt with? So all these things you take into account. So specifically this question was on audit of provisions and contingencies. Is it clear to all of you? Let me know. Is it clear to all of you, dear students? Okay. So let's take one question that we had skipped since it was a repeated question, but let's take it up again. Okay, this. Messrs. JKL and Associates Chartered Accountants are the statutory auditors of Messrs. IBS Bank Limited for the financial year 24-25. During the audit, they observed the following items included under interest income in the financial statement of the bank. Let's see. Number one, amount of 5 lakh relating to short-term crop loan where the installment was overdue for one crop season. Quickly, what should come to your mind? When does it become out of order? When does it become NPA? When in case of short-term crop loan, it is overdue for 2 season, isn't it? Term crop loan in term when it is overdue for one crop season. So here it is overdue for just one crop season. Will it become NPA? No. Let's see the second point. Amount of 7 lakhs relating to an advance guaranteed equally by the government of India, that is the central government, and government of Tamil Nadu, where the installment has been overdue for more than 6 months. Okay, so here we have to remember what? That if a loan is guaranteed by, advance is guaranteed by central government, then it will not be classified as NPA unless, I told you, remember this word, until the guarantee is invoked or repudiated. When unless and until it has cancelled, it will not become NPA for the purpose of classification. But again, for income recognition, it will be regarded as NPA. Isn't it? For income, we will not recognize the income. For income recognition, it will be NPA, but not for classification and making the provisioning. But central government guarantee, if an advance is backed up by the guarantee of central government, will it become NPA or will it also be not be NPA? It will slip into NPA, isn't it? State government guarantee, we do not consider. We do not consider. We say only central government. Okay? Only Modi ji, Modi ji. Okay? So central government, no NPA for the purpose of provisioning and classification. But for income recognition, again it will be NPA. But here what is happening? 50% is backed by central government, that is guaranteed by central government, and 50% by state government. So what will we do? How will we treat it? We will treat it as 3.5 lakhs NPA. Okay. So from the above facts and details, now see what the question is asking. From the above facts and detail, what should be the correct treatment of the above interest income in the bank financial statement? State the amount that can be recognized as interest income with appropriate reasoning, and also determine the amount to be classified as NPA with reference to applicable RBI norms. Alright, now we all know that since this 5 lakh interest amount with regard to the short-term crop loan, this will be treated as your interest income. Why? Because it is not NPA. It is not overdue for 2 crop season. It is overdue for just 1 crop season. So this amount will be treated as your interest income. But whereas in the second case, 50% that is backed up by the guarantee of central government will not be treated as NPA. Another 50% of 7 lakh, that is 3.5 lakhs, will be treated as NPA. Okay, so let's see how you have to write the answer. See, you will write the answer point wise. Solution to point number 1 and solution to point number 2. Solution to point number 1, short-term crop loan. This is how you will start writing. As per RBI norm, loan guaranteed granted for short duration crop to be classified as NPA only if the installment is overdue for 2 crop season. In the given case, the installment is overdue for just 1 crop season. Hence, the account is not classified as NPA and the interest income of 5 lakh will be recognized. Had it been recognized as NPA, this 5 lakh would have been reversed, isn't it? This interest income of 5 lakh, we would have reversed it. But here, since it is not an NPA, we will book the interest income of 5 lakhs in the books of accounts. Fine, ma'am. Okay. Then, advance guaranteed equally by Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu. If an advance is guaranteed by central government, it need not be classified as NPA until the guarantee is invoked and repudiated. Thus, central government guaranteed advances where the guarantee is not invoked and repudiated will be classified as standard but regarded as NPA for income recognition. Isn't it? Alright, because for income recognition we follow AS 9. Okay, alright. The situation would be different if the advance is guaranteed by the state government. Where advance is to be cast, here the advance will be considered as NPA if it remains overdue for more than 90 days for both provisioning as well as income recognition. All right. In the given case, since the guarantee is shared equally between the central government and the state government, and the installment is overdue for more than 6 months, the portion of loan guaranteed by central government, that is 50% of 7 lakhs, 3.5 lakhs, will not be classified as NPA unless the guarantee is invoked and repudiated. But the remaining 50% of 7 lakhs, that is 3.5 lakhs, guaranteed by the state government must be classified as NPA. Okay, as the installment is overdue for more than 90 days. So you can write also in the conclusion that amount to be classified as NPA will be 3.5 lakhs, that is 50% of 7 lakhs, and the amount of interest income to be recognized in the books of bank will be rupees 5 lakhs. Why? Because it was overdue for just one crop season and not two crop season. Clear to everyone? Just see how the answer is written. Very important for you to note down that this is how you will write. If you will write your answer point wise, you will not skip any part of the question. Because what happened, you read the question in one go and then you answer the first part, you skip the second part. Like I always tell you that you always start a new question from a fresh page. That what happens that while revising, if you come across any point that is missed out, you have ample space to write. Okay, and also leave lines between 2 points. This is how, just a minute, I've got a query. If overdue for crop season means that, what will be the answer, ma'am, for income recognition purpose? If overdue for two crop season, then it will be NPA. Gayatri, try to understand. For short-term crop loan, if it is overdue for more than two crop season, it becomes NPA. Okay, and we will reverse this interest income. We will not book this interest income of 5 lakh. We will reverse it. Are you understanding, Gayatri? This is what we had discussed. Gayatri, you were there in my LVC classes. I remember your name. Any other confusion, beta? Is it clear now? Okay, good. All right. So write the answer point wise, because then you tend to cover each and every part of the question. Okay. All right. So anyone, any doubt in whatever we have done till now? Just see again, how do you write the answer? Number 1, regarding the short-term crop loan. Number 2, regarding the advance guaranteed equally by Government of India, or you can also write in your own words, but just make sure how well you explain it. Okay, you can mention with the figures like 50% of 7 lakh is equal to 3.5 lakhs. That will be more impactful because you understand it that way. Okay, but you will only be able to explain it with the help of numericals once you understand it better. Okay, all right. So once you know how it's to be dealt with, you will be able to write. So always try to attempt the question first, draw the roadmap. Okay, what is the question demanding? It is clear in your mind, then proceed to writing the question. And also cross check whether you have covered all the part of the questions or not. Okay, is it clear? Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? So now with this revision, you must have understood that when to recognize, when does the account become overdue in case of overdue and CC is important. Provisioning, classification, all these things are, are the heart and soul of your bank audit. So you have to be very thorough with it. And still you have any doubt, please feel free to ask me. We have just completed all the revisionary questions from chapter number 10. Anyone, any doubt, please free to ask. No doubts? Okay, so we can take a short break of 5 minutes, and after the break we will start with revision of chapter 6. Okay? All right. I can see Rajiv sir is there. Good evening, sir. Technical team, Is Rajiv sir here? Okay, does he wish to address something to the students? Okay, can we take a break of say 5 minutes and get back with our chapter 6 revision? Technical team, Dharmen ji, we are taking a break for say 5 minutes and then we will be back. Okay, thank you. Dharmen ji, uh, nahi, Rajiv sir wish to address something to the students.
Hello, Sakshi.
हाँ, good evening sir.
Good evening. Good evening, students. Good evening, Sakshi.
Good evening sir.
स्टूडेंट्स, अभी जो इम्पोर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट ये है आप सबके लिए कि 11th को जो ऑडिट इनसाइट्स का हमने सेशन रखा है वो हमें पोस्टपोन किया है हमने 13th के लिए। ऑडिट इनसाइट्स में आप लोग आते हो या नहीं आते? अगर अभी तक नहीं आ रहे तो आप ऑडिट इनसाइट्स आपको पहली बात तो जरूर अटेंड करना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें हम प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट से हमने कुछ टॉपिक्स को कवर किया है, जैसे ऑडिट एविडेंस है, रिस्क ऑफ मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट है, रिस्क असेसमेंट है, ऑडिट एविडेंस है, प्रिलिमिनरी एंगेजमेंट एक्टिविटीज हैं। तो हमने उसके सेशंस डिवाइड किए, टोटल 2 आवर्स इंटू 2 आवर्स ईच, और 15 सेशंस टोटल हैं उसमें। तो स्टूडेंट्स, आप एक तो वो हैबिट बनाओ कि आपने वो अटेंड करना ही करना है, दिस इज वन थिंग। और जो 11th को सेशन शेड्यूल्ड है वो हमने अब 13th को किया है, उसका सेशन कंप्लीशन एंड रिव्यू उसका टॉपिक है। दिस इज वन थिंग। सेकेंडली, जो फोर्थ नाइट हम सेशन कर रहे हैं, ऑडिटिंग का सेशन शेड्यूल्ड है, आप सबको मालूम है, वो 13th को पहले शेड्यूल्ड था, अब वो 11th को है 3 to 5। जो पहले 13th को शेड्यूल था अभी वो 11th को होगा, सैटरडे को 3 to 5। तो मैं आप सबको ये सजेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि आप हम उसमें पूरी स्ट्रेटेजी डिस्कस करने वाले हैं आपके, कि आप एग्जाम तक अभी जो 45 डेज आपके बैलेंस हैं उसको कैसे यूटिलाइज करना है, कैसे करना है, कैसे आप तैयारी करोगे, कैसे आप और बेहतर तैयारी करके अच्छे मार्क्स ला सकते हो स्टूडेंट्स। और तो आप प्लीज वो सेशन मैं आपको सबको सजेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि वो मिस ना करना, 3 to 5 और 11th को सैटरडे। साक्षी, आप एक बार लास्ट में जब क्लास एंड करोगे तो तभी भी एक बार दोबारा से ये दोनों अनाउंसमेंट्स आप कर देना प्लीज है।
जी सर, बिल्कुल सर।
तो ये दोनों अनाउंसमेंट्स आप कर देना। और स्टूडेंट्स, ये जो एलवीआरसी है इसमें आपने सारे रिविजन्स कर ही ली।
धर्मेन जी,
यस मैम।
आई थिंक राजीव सर कुछ कह रहे थे, बीच में बात कट गई।
ओके।
All right, so let's start with our chapter number 6. Okay, so chapter 6, which is regarding your documentation. Again, very important, very easy yet scoring chapter from your exam point of view. Okay, so okay, is my voice coming slow? Okay, all right, let me check. Okay, so this chapter on documentation, I said it is a very easy and scoring chapter from your exam point of view. So never take it lightly, because it is of good weightage, and as well as it has very less content to be retained. Okay, so win-win situation for this chapter. If you get in the exam, it's like freebies for you. You easily gain marks. Okay, all right. So let's start with our first question. Is my screen visible to all? Okay, all right. So question number 1. During an audit of MNT Limited, CA Shubh, the auditor, discovers an issue with the stock valuation. To ensure the accuracy and reliability of his observation, CA Shubh needs to document the audit procedure. Okay, procedures, evidences collected, and his observations thoroughly. Means they are saying that he needs to document it. Okay. In this situation, how does audit documentation help CA Shubh support his findings in audit in accordance with standards on auditing? So basically, they are asking how will this documentation help CA Shubh? Okay, so what have you to write? The advantages. Okay, the purpose of this documentation. All right, so during the audit of MNT Limited, CA Shubh identifies an issue with stock valuation. To ensure the accuracy and reliability of his observation, it is crucial for him to document the audit procedures performed, the evidences obtained, and his findings in a structured manner. Now, immediately, the advantages, the purpose of this audit documentation should come to your mind. What had we discussed? Why is this even documentation important? Let's start in that chronology. Firstly, it helps you to plan the audit, plan and perform the audit, to tell your team members that, see, we are going to plan the audit this way, you are going to do this, you are going to do that. Okay, you will assess the member, you will direct them, you will supervise that who is going to check whose work. Okay, you will check how whose responsibility is to do what. So everything is documented. Mr. A is going to check this, Mr. B to this, Mr. C this. All right, then why are you writing it? Because if anything found faulty or everything found wrong, you can ask that person and the person assigned that work will be accountable. For example, you have written Mr. A will see to the stock, Mr. B is to the documentation. Now, when you have completed the audit or while you are doing the audit, you come across that the document evaluation of the property papers you are not finding. So you will ask Mr. B, you were supposed to look into the documentation, the evidences. Where is the sale deed or the property papers? So Mr. B will be accountable. So accountability of the engagement team is dealt with in this documentation. Then you also retain these records for future audits, that if next time you get the audit of this very company, you know what were the critical areas, what were the significant matters, what were the discussion you have had. So you have noted it down for future audit. Then that enables the quality control reviews. Now you know peer reviews happening. So the peer reviewer, when he comes to your place and he asks, okay, this documentation, you are easily able to show that, see, this is how I have worked for this entity. Okay, enabling the conduct of external inspection. If that entity is asked for inspection, if inspector comes, he also sees that, okay, let me see, CA, how have you documented this thing? I'm not able to understand. So any requirement from your RBI, any requirement from your SEBI, you are able to show them the proof that, see, sir, I have well done the due diligence, I have looked into this matter, and here is my documentation. Like we have discussed, work not documented is work not done. Isn't it? Work not documented is work not done. So if anyone asks you, show me your documentation, you say, oh, not done, means you did not do the audit at all. Okay, so let's see how you have written how have you to write the answer. Point number 1, assisting members of the engagement team to direct and supervise. So assisting member and to discharge their review responsibility. Then enabling the engagement team to be accountable for its work. I have missed out the first point, I'm very sorry. The first point says assisting the engagement team to plan and perform the audit. Very, very prime point, isn't it? Planning and performing the audit documentation is important. Then assisting the members for direction, supervision, so that they are able to discharge their duties. Next, for their accountability. You remember, see, if you will follow the pattern, if you know what we have practically discussed, that you have got a call from a client that, sir, I wish to appoint you as an auditor. You will immediately not run away the second day and say, yes, I have come, show. No, you will you will get the, you will draft the engagement letter, you will share it with the client. If he accepts, then he will send you the appointment letter. Then you will sit with your engagement team, you will say, oh, this person is good at this is good at this, and you document it. So that chronology, that the sequence, if it is clear in your mind, you will be able to write the answer, and you need not to mug up. Only understanding will do. Simple understanding. Okay. All right. Then you retain it for future audits. Then you enable, this is done to enable the quality control reviews and inspection in accordance with SQC1. You know, SQC1s will be deals with the quality control, and that quality is applicable to the firm at large. Since now you all have done SQC1 and SA220, you know the difference. It covers the entire firm. It's personal. Everybody has to maintain the quality, the integrity, isn't it? Okay. Then enabling the conduct of external inspection. If some external inspector comes, he is able, or regulator demands, SEBI demands, RBI demands, you are able to show it as a proof, your documented work. Okay. So quickly let's revise. What are the purpose of this documentation? Plan and perform the audit, assist member in direct supervising and discharging their duties. Third, assisting the members, enabling the members to be accountable for their job. Next, retaining the record for future audits. Then quality review with respect to SQC1. Then it enables, it helps the external inspection in accordance with the applicable legal and regulatory requirements. Clear? Is it clear to all of you? Should we proceed? Okay. All right. Next. CA Tanuj, the auditor of Kiran Limited, has completed the audit work and has issued the report on 18th August 2024. Now, you have to see this date. He has issued the audit report for the financial year ended 31st March 24. Okay. During the final assembly of audit file, he discarded some of the supporting schedules as same were outdated and corrected cross-referencing errors of working papers. You understand this? Outdated, it was of no good use now. And corrected cross-referencing means there was some connection with the other paper. Now you have attached the fresh paper and you have discarded the old one. Why? Because that was no more applicable. Okay. No new audit conclusions were drawn. Can you draw new audit conclusion after you have given the audit report? Come on, write to me in the chat box. Can you draw new audit conclusion or come out with some new finding? So here they say no new audit conclusions were drawn and audit file was assembled on 10th October. So August, September and October. Fine. On the basis of standards on auditing regarding audit documentation, comment on the action taken by CA Anuj. Now I would like to ask from you. Is the approach of CA Anuj correct? Whatever he has done, is it correct? Is it correct? So first of all, you should be knowing this documentation is dealt in SA 230. Okay. It says that you should assemble the audit documentation on timely basis after the auditor's report. This is what you have to remember. SA 230. Assemble of audit documentation on timely basis after the audit report. And when is the final audit file to be made? It should be assembled, the final audit file to be assembled not more than 60 days after the date of audit report. So audit report was issued on 18th. So 60 days, August, September, October. It is very well between these 60 days. So correct. Okay. Now, can you draw new conclusion or come up with new findings while assembling the audit file? No, not at all. Once the report is issued, the assembling work is only done the changes in the assembly work can be done only if it is of administrative nature. We all have done that, isn't it? You cannot draw new conclusions, or you cannot perform new audit procedures. You can only make changes which are of administrative nature. Next, after the assembly of audit file, the auditor shall not delete any of the documentation, isn't it? And he has to retain it also till the end of its retention period, isn't it? So here what is happening? Here CA Tanuj has issued the audit report on 18th August and he has assembled it on 10th October, very well in place, no issue. Also, he's saying he has discarded some supporting schedules that were outdated. So can he do so? Can he do so? Can he do so? Yes, he can. What were the examples of changes that can be made, which we consider as of administrative nature? You can delete or discard the superseded documentation, isn't it? Which is superior, which is superseded, which is surpassing the other old document. You can sort, you can collate, you can cross-reference the working papers, isn't it? Do you remember all these things? Then there should be no duplicate. If it is a duplication, you can definitely discard. Signing off on completion checklist retaining to the file assembly process. What you will do if the file is completed, then you will see that, oh, this working paper, it was a rough paper. You can discard it, isn't it? Isn't it? So what one is documenting audit evidence that the auditor has obtained, he has discussed, and he has agreed with the relevant members of the engagement team before the date of auditor's report. So this is what we have to keep in mind. So is here what he is doing? CA Tanuj, he is discarding the old papers. Can he do so? Yes, he can do so. So whatever he has done, is it proper? Is it proper? Is it proper? Yes, he can make the necessary changes what he has made during the final assembly process, isn't it? Okay, all right. So let's see how the answer is written. As per SA 230 audit documentation, the auditor shall assemble the audit documentation and audit file and complete the administrative process of assembling the audit file on timely basis. Very important. After the audit report, okay. An appropriate time limit within which to complete the assembly of final audit file is ordinarily not more than 60 days. Okay, after the date of auditor's report. The completion of assembly of final audit file after the date of audit report is an administrative process and it does not involve the performance of new audit procedures or drawing new conclusions. He cannot perform new audit procedures and he cannot draw new conclusion. Whatever was done is done before the audit report, isn't it? Okay. Changes may, however, be made to audit documentation during the final assembly process. What kind of changes? Only administrative changes. After the assembly of final audit file can be completed, the auditor shall not delete or discard the audit documentation of any nature before the end of its retention period. In the given situation, the auditor, CA Tanuj, has issued the auditor's report on 18th August and he has discarded some supported schedule and corrected cross references error of working paper. Can he do so? Yes. By 10th October, which is under prescribed time limit of 60 days from the issuance of audit report. Further, he did not draw any new audit conclusion or did not perform any new audit procedure. So, the said changes made by CA Tanuj is fine. He can make such changes to the audit documentation during the final assembly process. Did you understand this question? Did you understand? So, to answer this question, what all you should be knowing? You should be first knowing what is the time period during which the final assembly is to be done. Okay, after how many days of the auditor's report, and then you have to retain it. Okay, and also what kind of changes can be made, what are the examples of such kind of changes. If you know this much, you will be able to write this answer. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear, dear students? Okay, all right. Next question. Messrs. KSJS and Associates are statutory auditors of Moon Limited for the financial year 23-24. During an audit briefing, CS Sanket, the engagement partner, explained the auditor must assemble the audit documentation in the audit file and complete the administrative process of finalizing the audit file on timely basis after the auditor's report. He also highlights the requirement of SQC1 regarding establishment of policies and procedures for retention of engagement documentation in a firm. Explain the requirements related to timely assembly and retention of audit file with relevant engagement and quality standard, that is as per SQC 1. Again, reading the question, I am giving you time to read the question. Please read the question yourself. Read the question yourself and just think, what are you supposed to write? How should you go about writing or even starting this question? How should you go about? Just read this question yourself once again. So, they are asking for SQC1, isn't it? Final audit file is ordinarily assembled for not more than 60 days after the date of auditor's report. Then I told you examples of such changes. What could be example? Deleting or discarding the superseded documents, the changed documents. Obviously, when it is changed, no need for the same. Sorting, collating. What is collating? You collect information from different places and you put them together to analyze the same, to examine the same, to compare the same. So, collating, cross-referencing working paper, it can be done. Okay, then you conclude the completion and then you see the checklist all done relating to the final assembly of the final assembly process. Then document audit evidence that the auditor has obtained. You discuss and agreed with the relevant members of the engagement team before the date of audit report. So all these things can be done. Okay, but the auditor cannot delete or discard audit documentation, okay, before the retention period. And what is the retention period? Not shorter than 7 years. Do not write 7 years. You have to write not shorter than, not less than 7 years from the date of auditor's report, or if later, the date of group auditor's report. Isn't it? So you have to remember these things, dear students. So you can now see how important that area was. Okay, let's see how are you going to start the answer. Obviously, when they are writing in accordance with relevant engagement and quality control standard, start with SQC1. Examiner, dear examiner, look, I know the relevant standard. It's SQC1, quality control for firms that perform audit and review of historical financial information and other assurance and related services, because you all know SA 220 is applicable to only audit engagement, whereas SQC is related to all the engagement. It was a blanket standard, isn't it, covering all the assurance engagements, be it related service, be it agreed upon procedures, be it audit engagement, all the services. Okay, so let's see how are you going to write the answer. The auditor shall assemble the audit documentation in an audit file and complete the administrative process of assembly of audit file on timely basis after the date of auditor's report. Number 1, SQC1, you write the name, you write the heading. Please write the heading. Okay. Quality control for firms that perform audits and review of historical financial information and other assurance and related services requires firms to establish policies and procedures for timely completion of assembly of audit files. An appropriate time limit within which to complete the assembly of audit file is ordinarily not more than 60 days. Please do not write 60 days. You have to write not more than 60 days after the date of auditor's report. Okay. The completion of the assembly of final audit file after the date of auditor's report is an administrative process. Okay. That does not involve performance of any new audit engagement or audit procedure, sorry, or drawing new conclusions. Changes may, however, be made to the audit documentation during the final assembly process if they are administrative in nature. And what are the example? Exclusively, you can get a question regarding with respect to examples of such kind of changes. Or you are given one case study where Mr. X, who's the auditor, is discarding or deleting some superseded documents. You've been asked, can he do so? He's sorting or he's collating and cross-referring working papers. If whatever he is doing, is his approach correct or not? You are asked. So you have to give the examples that what all things are covered under administrative nature. So what are the examples of such changes that can be made to the final process? That is deleting or discarding superseded documents, the duplicate, the changed documents, sorting, collating and referencing of working papers, signing off on completion checklist relating to the file assembly process, documenting audit evidence that auditors has obtained, discussed and agreed with the relevant members of engagement team before the date of auditor's report. He is saying that, see, with regard to this evidences or for this particular thing we had obtained this evidence, we are noting it down. This confirmation from debtors we have obtained, this confirmation from bank we have obtained. So he's all documenting the same. Okay. Then after the assembly of final audit file has been completed, the auditor shall not delete or discard audit documentation of any nature before the end of its retention period. SQC 1 requires firm. You always say firm. Why? Because it is applicable to the firm at large. So SQC 1 requires firm to establish policies and procedures for retention of engagement document, and the retention period should not be shorter than the 7 years from the date of auditor's report, or if later the date of group auditor's report. Why? Because maybe the branch auditor or group auditor must have given the report later. So in that case, later. Is it clear to all of you? Are all these points clear? How will you go upon? You will start with SQC 1. You will tell 60 days timer. You will tell the example of what kind of changes can be made. You will tell retention period of not shorter than 7 years. And then you will also tell that in case of group audit, it can be later. Clear? Clear to all? Yes, dear students, is it clear? Can we proceed to the next question with your due permission? Okay, all right. Next question. CAN, Statutory Order of Rock Limited, is in the process of final assembly. You see how much this final assembly is being emphasized on. Final assembly of audit file. Under what circumstances can the statutory order make changes to audit documentation during final assembly process of audit file? Give few examples. Again, those examples are deleting or discarding the superseded documents, sorting, collating and cross-referencing working papers, signing off on completion checklist relating to final assembly process, and documenting audit evidence with what we have obtained and discussed with the engagement team before the date of audit report. Okay. Next question. Question number 5. CAN, a statutory auditor of QST Limited, appointed for a term of 5 years, has completed audit for the first financial year on 31st March 24. Okay. In compliance with requirements of professional standard, an audit file has been assembled. After about a period of 6 months from the date of issue of audit report, 6 months, okay, he gets a call from CFO of the company to share complete audit file so that financial reporting of company can be improved upon in coming periods. Oh my God, okay. Is it mandatory for the statutory auditor to share the audit file with the client? What are the requirements for making audit documentation available to client? Now, for this, first of all, you should be knowing what does SQC1 says. SQC1 says that audit documentation is the sole property of the auditor. He is under no obligation to share the audit file with the client. If, however, he has to share, what can he share? If he has to make some portion or extracts available for the client, he can at his own discretion, at his choice, make portion or extracts available to the client, but that such disclosure should not undermine the validity of the work performed by him. It should not weaken the validity of the work performed by him. Okay, or it should not, in case of assurance engagement, it should not weaken or it should not undermine the independence of auditor, that he is not being independent, he is being biased, he is sharing things. So these things will not apply because he is making some portion or extracts available to the client at his own choice. But is he mandatory? Is he under obligation to share? No, not at all. He is the sole owner of that documentation. Okay. Audit document is the property of auditor, not the client. Okay, isn't it? We all know this. Okay, so let's see how does the answer go about. See, starting with SQC1. Quality control for firm that performs audit and review of historical financial information and other assurance and related service engagements. Provides, unless otherwise specified by law or regulation, audit documentation is the property of auditor. Therefore, it is not mandatory for CAN to share the audit file with the client. However, if the client is asking and he knows that he has to, he can give, there's no harm, at his discretion, he may make portion for that particular portion. Okay, or extract, not the entire file is handing over. Look, see whatever we have done. No, they need it for particular purpose. Okay, that for that portion, for that extract, I can make you available this all documentation. Okay, provided even this much disclosure should not undermine, should not weaken my work validity of my work performed, should not put a doubt, should not put a question on my independence. Okay, so or in case of assurance engagement, the independence of auditor or of his personnel. Personnel means the people of his firm, the uh, people who were engaged in the engagement team, who were there in the engagement team. Clear? Is this answer clear to all? Let me know, write to me in the chat box. So for this, what were you supposed to know? The SQC1 name, then property of the auditor. Now he can make available portion and extracts, but such disclosure should not undermine the validity of work performed or independence in case of assurance engagement. So these 4-5 keywords you have to put in, you have to insert them, you have to write them. Okay. All right. Is it clear? Can we proceed? Is this question clear to all? Okay. Coming to the next question. CA Shilpi, the engagement partner at MN Associates, is assigned the audit of following two companies. Said Limited, a small family run business with straightforward operations minimal internal controls and low transaction volume. Okay, family businesses, not large transaction take place, controls can be minimal. Okay, operations are not very complex, they are straightforward. And another was TED Limited, a large MNC, multinational corporation with complex operation, multiple subsidiaries here and there, and high transaction value. Okay. Now, during the audit planning stage, CA highlights the form, content, and extent of audit documentation must be customized for each client based on specific factors. Discuss those factors which form, content, and extent of audit documentation depends. Now, you have to write what are the factors on which the form, content, and extent of audit documentation, what to write, how much to write, depends upon the of the audit documentation. How much audit documentation to be maintained? What are the factors? Now you see there are two forms. One is big, one is small. So obviously, what are the factors? The nature, size, and complexity of the entity. Small entity, small documentation. Less transaction, less documentation. Big transaction, big entity, more of transactions, more documentation. Less complex transaction, less documentation, more complex, more documentation. Nature of audit procedure. Additional audit procedures performed, further audit procedures performed, more documentation. Just simple, if you saw that the internal controls are okay, then what do? Less substantive procedures performed, fine, less documentation. You identify the risk of material misstatement. If the risk of material misstatement is more, documentation more. Risk of material misstatement less, documentation less. Significance of audit evidence, less audit evidence obtained, less documentation, more audit evidence obtained, more documentation. Then nature and extent of exceptions identified. What are exceptions? I told you, 1 year you see travel and conveyance expenses or conveyance expenses to was rupees 50,000. The other year, travel expenses or conveyance expenses was 1 lakh. Oh my God, exceptional transactions. What is this happening? So, more documentation. If there are no exceptions identified, no documentation required for the same. You need to document a conclusion on the basis of conclusion not readily determined from documentation of the work performed or audit evidences obtained. Means you are going to document on the basis of amount of audit evidences obtained. Okay, for some conclusions which is not available, you will try to perform more audit procedures, more documentation. Then what audit methodology and tools have been used? What kind of sampling method have you used? You are going to document. Okay, so this is the roadmap. Now, how are you going to write the answer? Let's check it out. The form, content, and extent of audit documentation depends upon factors such as number one, size and complexity of the entity. Like we discussed, big size, more documentation, more complex transaction, more documentation. Nature of audit procedures. What kind of audit procedures are being performed? Identified risk of material misstatement, less, more RRM, more documentation. Significance of audit evidences obtained. How significant is the audit evidences? Okay. Then the nature and extent of exceptions identified. Need to document a conclusion or the basis for conclusion not readily determined. Means you are coming to any conclusion for which you have performed further audit procedures. You will document the same. And the audit methodology and tools used. Okay, is it clear? What sample method have you used? Haphazard, random, block sampling, what have you used? You are going to document likewise. Clear to all of you? Okay, let's revise once again. The factors on which the form, content, and extent of your audit documentation depends. Number one, size and complexity. Number two, nature of audit procedure. Number three, risk of material misstatement identified. Number four, Audit evidences, its significance of audit evidences, nature and extent of exceptions identified. Then you need to document the conclusion or where the conclusion is not readily available. And last but not the least, audit methodology and tools. Okay. 6 point again, okay. The need to document a conclusion or the basis for conclusion. On what basis have you come to this conclusion that the stock is undervalued? Suppose you have concluded that the stock is undervalued. On what basis have you concluded? You say we have performed physical verification and saw that the stock was undervalued. There was more stock but less amount of stock has been mentioned. So for a conclusion not readily determined from the documentation of the work performed or audit evidence obtained. Is it clear, Gayatri? You are writing that you have done the physical verification or you have done inspection and you concluded that the property and plant did not exist. Is it clear, Gayatri? Okay. All right. Can we come to the next question? Can we come to the next question? Okay. CA PICU has prepared audit documentation for an entity describing nature, timing and extent of audit procedures performed during the course of audit. In documenting the nature, time and extent of audit procedures being performed, which matters shall be recorded. All right. He is also of the view that such documentation alone as described above meets requirements of standard on auditing. Comment upon validity of his view. 2 questions at a time. Number 1, you have to mention what are in documenting the nature, time and extent of audit procedures, what all things the auditor shall record. Okay. Second, he is also of the view that these documentation alone is okay to meet the requirement of standard auditing. You have to tell whether his view is correct or not. So now what have you to remember? You have to draw a roadmap. You have to imagine, okay, in documenting what kind of audit is to be done, nature of audit, what time, what is the time period covered for audit, how much time period, how much audit procedure to be done, extent of audit procedure. I shall take into account what? I shall identify the characteristics of specific items or matters tested. What are the specific items? Who performed the audit work out from my engagement team? When was that audit work being performed? When was it completed? Then who reviewed such work? When was that work reviewed? How much was it reviewed? Was 100% sample tested or just part of the samples was being reviewed? Okay, so the auditor shall prepare audit documentation that is sufficient to enable experienced auditor having no previous connection with the audit to understand. Like I told you that your documentation, if taken by some other new auditor, he would be able to understand that okay, this is what you have done. New experienced auditor means who is knowledgeable person. Obviously, if some BCom pass student will come and see to your documentation, he will not be able to understand. He has to be a qualified CA, for that matter an auditor. Okay. Okay, then the nature, time and extent of audit procedures performed, the results of those audit procedures performed, evidences obtained, significant matters if any arising from those audit, conclusion reached, significant professional judgment that he has used in making those conclusions. Okay, he thinks that no, this has to be dealt with while inquiry. You have to inquire, you have to observe, you have to recalculate, you have to re-perform that calculation again. So what is the result of such audit procedure? If any significant matters have arisen, how have you dealt with it? What conclusion have you reached? Okay, and then you say, when all the matters are recorded to meet the requirements of essay 230, documenting nature, timing and extent of audit procedure does not alone meet the requirements of 230. Only these things will cover in 230? No. You have to take things more into consideration. You have to perform additional audit procedures, further audit procedures. Okay, what other ICAI ORR that you are performing to obtain evidences? What is ICAI ORR? What is ICAI ORR? Inspection, confirmation, analytical procedures, inquiry, observation, reperformance, recalculation, everything has to be dealt with, isn't it? Okay, so let's see how the answer is written. In documenting the nature, timing and extent of audit procedures performed, the auditor shall record what? Identify characteristics of specific matter or matters tested. Okay. Who performed the audit work and the date on which such work was completed? Who reviewed the audit work and the date and extent of such review? Like I told you, how much samples reviewed. Auditor shall prepare audit documentation that is sufficient to enable an experienced auditor having no previous connection with the audit to understand nature, timing and extent of audit procedures, results of the audit procedures performed, evidences obtained from them, significant matters arise during the audit and conclusion reached thereon with regard to these significant matters. Then professional judgment made reaching those conclusion. Then all the above matters shall be recorded to meet the requirements of 230. So documenting just the nature, time and extent of audit procedures performed alone does not meet the requirements of 230. Okay. So CA PQ's view is not valid. Clear? Is it clear to all of you? Were you able to recall things from your LVC classes? Were you able to recall? Tell me honestly. You will be only able to recall when you have revised things. All right. Coming to the next question. CA Ripon completed the audit of a listed company. Okay. And the audit report was issued on 17 July 24. However, he has not properly organized the audit working papers. The question itself says not properly organized, including records of discussion with management, audit procedures performed and conclusion reached. More than 6 months after issuing the report, he received a letter from regulator in connection with audit of the company requesting him to share a copy of audit file. Oh my God. In a hurry, CA Ripun quickly assembled the audit file. Okay. In a hurry, CA Ripun quickly assembled the audit file, adding some papers, oh my God, he thought were necessary. But he used the current date on these newly added documents. See what blunder CA Ripun is doing. He then sent the audit file to the regulator, discussed the issue involved related to audit documentation and assembly of audit file in this case. Read the question yourself and try to analyze what should be the answer or how will you write the answer. Just imagine. How are you going to see all the blunders done by CA Ripun? But then you have to make sure how are you proceeding with the answer. Just do not write, no, whatever CA Ripun has done is wrong. He has done this, he has done that, it is all wrong. No, do not go like that. You have to tell, you have to repeat the language of the question that he has not properly organized the working paper. When receiving the letter from the regulator, in a hurry he assembled the audit file, adding some papers, and he has used the current date. My God. So then you will start with the requirement of essay SQC1, that it requires that you establish policies and procedures for timely completion of assembly files, which should not be more than 60 days from the date of auditor's report. Isn't it? However, some administrative changes can be done. Okay? Which does not involve performance of new audit procedures or drawing new conclusion. However, such changes can be only made if they are administrative in nature. Then, further, preparing sufficient and appropriate audit evidences on timely basis helps in quality of the audit and facilitates the effective review and evaluation of the audit evidence obtained and conclusion reached. Documentation prepared after the audit work like CA Ripun has done. Is it? Isn't it what he has done? He has prepared the documentation after audit work has been performed is likely to be less accurate. Will it provide more authenticity to your audit documentation? No. Suppose you are preparing some notes while preparing the chapter and you have done the chapter, and after that after 60 days you are preparing notes. What will happen? Which notes will be more authentic? Obviously the ones you have prepared while doing the chapter, isn't it? So they say documentation prepared after the audit work has been performed is likely to be less accurate than documentation prepared at the time when such work is being performed. So here you will conclude, in this very case, CA Ripon, even after passage of more than 60 months, did not assemble the audit file. So that is a violation. Again, he has put in some papers in the current date, with the current date, which is not permissible at all. So this shows that audit documentation has been prepared after audit was done, which is absolutely wrong. That puts a question mark on the quality of audit. That doubts the authenticity of the audit done. Okay, doing work here and documenting it and preparing notes later, there will always be a doubt there. Okay, so let's see how is the question going. Auditor shall assemble the audit documentation in an audit file and complete the administrative process of assembling the audit file on timely basis after the date of auditor's report. SQC 1. Quality control for firms that perform audit and review of historical financial information and other assurance and related services requires the firm to establish policies and procedures for timely completion of assembly of audit files. An appropriate time limit within which to complete the assembly of audit file is ordinarily not more than 60 days after the date of auditor's report. Okay. The completion of assembly of final audit file after the date of audit report is an administrative process that does not involve performance of new audit procedures or drawing new conclusions. I think by this time, this line would have been repeatedly going into your head, and thereby you are able to understand it better, I guess. Okay. Changes may, however, be made to the audit documentation during the final assembly process if they are administrative in nature. Now, for the preparing sufficient and appropriate audit documentation on timely basis, it helps to enhance the quality of the audit and facilitate the effective review and evaluation of audit evidence obtained and conclusion reached before the auditor's report is finalized. Documentation prepared after the audit work has been prepared or performed is likely to be less accurate than documentation prepared at the time when such work was performed. Here in the given case, after the passage of more than 6 months, CA Ripun did not assemble the audit file, and he has put some additional papers on which he has put the current date, which is as it is not permissible. So it shows that part of the audit documentation has been prepared, afterwards putting a question mark on the quality of audit or the authenticity of the work being performed. Is it clear to everyone? Gayatri saying, I was not there in LVC. There is some other person of the same name. Yes, there was one Gayatri, I remember. Okay, maybe not you then. Okay, all right. Okay, now next question. Messrs. BPA and Associates Chartered Accountants were appointed as auditors of Nissan Limited, a company with pan-India presence for the financial year 23-24. Okay. The audit report was issued on 20th August 24. Following the issuance of audit report, CAP instructed team member Y to assemble the final audit file and prepare the completion memorandum. New question, completion memorandum. Okay. Explain the meaning of completion memorandum, and team member Y completed the assembly of final audit file in March 25 and handed over to CAP. Was team member Y correct in his approach? So first, there are two parts of the question. You have to tell what is completion memorandum. Okay, so you will tell that some part of the audit documentation which you summarize, which you prepare a crux of, is known as audit summary or summary of audit documentation, or it is also called as completion memorandum. Okay, which describes significant matters identified during audit and how they were dealt with, how were they addressed. Okay, so such a summary, how is it helpful? It facilitates effective and efficient review and inspection of audit documentation, particularly in case of large and complex audit. Okay, then you say such documentation also assists the auditor's consideration of significant matters. Okay, and it is also helpful to the auditor to understand whether any relevant essays objective that the auditor cannot achieve would prevent the auditor from achieving the overall objective of the auditor. What was the overall objective of the auditor? To give a reasonable assurance, okay, that the financial statements are free from material misstatement either due to fraud or error. Okay, and that the financial statements are prepared by the management in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework and his reporting thereon as per essays, isn't it? Okay, then what will you say? Assembly of final audit file, it has to be done on timely basis, which should be not more than 60 days from the date of auditor's report. Here, the audit reports were issued on 20th August. Okay, and P has instructed the team member Y to assemble the file to prepare the completion memorandum. However, Y completed the assembly of audit files in the month of March, which is August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, my God, which is more than 60 days. It is non-compliance of SQC1, isn't it? Why? Because SQC1 requires it to be completed within 60 days, not more than 60 days from the date of auditor's report. Thus, the approach of team member Y is not correct. Have you understood? You will first explain the completion memorandum. Okay, then you will explain what the situation is, how is the case dealt with. Okay, let's see. Meaning and significance of completion memorandum. The auditor may consider it helpful to prepare and retain as part of audit documentation a summary, which is sometimes known as completion memorandum. It describes significant matters identified during audit and how they were dealt with, how were they addressed. Such a summary may facilitate effective and efficient review and inspection of the audit documentation, particularly in case of large and complex audits. Further, the preparation of such summary may assist the auditor's consideration of significant matters. He knows that this summary considers significant matters. So whenever he has to see some significant matters, he will quickly not view the entire audit file. He will just see to that completion memorandum. Okay. All right. It also helps the auditor to consider whether there is any individual relevant essay objective that the auditor cannot achieve that would prevent the auditor from achieving the overall objective. Means he is securing that, yes, I have dealt with the overall objective of the audit. I have done it as per the essays. Okay. Okay. Then assembly of final audit file, SQC1. Okay, the auditor shall assemble the audit documentation and audit file and complete the administrative process of assembling the file of audit on timely basis after the date of auditor's report. An appropriate time limit within which to complete the assembly of audit file is ordinarily not more than 60 days after the date of auditor's report. In this particular case, the audit report was issued on 20th August, whereas why he assembled the audit file, final audit file on March 30th, 2025, isn't it? So what did he do? He violated, isn't it? He has assembled it in more than 60 days. It is a non-compliance of SQC1. Thus, the approach of why is not correct. Is it clear? Is it clear? Can we proceed? Can we proceed? Okay. So, coming to our last question. Messrs. PK and Company Chartered Accountants are the statutory auditors of JC Limited. C.A. Tarun, partner of Messrs. PK and Company, was entrusted to supervise and verify the inventory items as on 31st March 2024. During the process of verification, a large chunk of draft inventory sheet. What do you mean by draft inventory sheet? Some working papers, some rough papers were accumulated and then a final inventory sheet was prepared. Okay. The audit assistant has kept all these draft as well as final inventory sheet in the audit file. Is the approach of audit assistant correct? Which papers or documents may not be included in the audit documentation? See, we know these draft files are basically some rough work, some rough sheets that you have scribbled on, that you have made available, or you were trying to do some work. But then after that, the final sheet was also prepared. So what had to be put? The final inventory sheet and not the draft paper. Okay. Now the second part is asking which paper may not be included. So there only you have to write that such duplicates copy, these draft, some copy in which there was some typing error, okay, some incomplete papers, some superseded draft working paper. Superseded draft means where some further work was done and the work done previous was incomplete. It is now outdated, it is of no good use. Okay, all right. So here you would start writing, in the given case, the audit assistant has kept a large chunk of draft inventory sheets and also the final inventory sheets in the audit file, which is not correct, as the auditor is not required to document draft inventory sheets. Okay, auditor should ensure that only final inventory sheet will form part of the audit documentation. Thus, approach of audit assistant of filing the draft and as well as final is not correct. He should only file the final and not the draft. As per SA 230, that is audit documentation. Audit documentation may be recorded on paper or electronic or other media. You can keep it paper wise or some soft copy or on some hard drive, pen drive, whatever you feel like. Okay. The auditor need not include what? Some superseded draft. Some draft which is now changed. Okay. And the final statements. Superseded final statements. Okay. Notes that reflect incomplete or preliminary thinking. You were just planning out something, you have scribbled something, you were putting some notes, and that is also kept in the final audit. No, that should not be there. Okay. Previous copies of documents corrected, some typographical error were there, some error were there, some calculation error was there, that is also kept, and the correct calculation paper is also there. So what will it have? It will do, it will unnecessarily create confusion. So it is better to remove that previous copy. That should not be kept where some typographical error, some other calculation error, or any kind of error has been done, or duplicates. When there are duplicates, what will happen? You will end up confusing your own self. Okay, so just a single copy to be kept. Come on, quickly let's revise. What documents should not be kept? Superseded drafts of working papers and final statements. Even the financial statements changed, then the old financial statements no use. Notes that reflect incomplete or preliminary, whatever you were thinking previously, now it has been changed. previous copy of documents which were corrected. Why? Because there was some typographical error, some typing error, some other error was there. And the duplicates of the document. Duplicate copies, photostats not to be kept. Okay? Is this answer clear to all of you? Can I consider both chapter 10 and chapter 6 to be completed and revised, of course? Can I consider anyone any doubt regarding whatever we have done in this chapter or chapter 10 or anything apart from the questions that we have done? You are free to ask. I'm giving you time. Think of it. You can ask. How to retain everything in my mind, ma'am, to score full marks. What full marks, Gayatri? You will not get 100 on 100. See, retaining is a process that will happen not overnight. You have to continuously revise whatever you have done today. Revise tomorrow. Then after 2 days, just flip the pages. Then after a week, again flip the pages. So when you will revise, you will have the habit of writing. You see in the revisionary class itself, so many questions you must have learned it here in the class itself. Why? Because you were repeatedly doing it. So likewise, when you repeat doing it, when you revise again and again, it automatically sinks into your brain and you will never have problem in retaining things. Okay, so the only key to remember and retain things is revision. Writing and learning. You write, maybe you think that while writing I'm wasting time, but it is once and for all you will remember it. So try writing and learning. Okay, because there's a direct connection. When you write, it settles in your brain. Okay, so revise, write, learn, revise, learn, write, revise. That is the only formula. Okay, all right. So with this, I wish all of you all the best. Revise your papers well, revise your chapters really well. Okay, so that's all for today. Good night to all of you and God bless you all. Technical team, uh, yes, it's over. Good night, technical Dharmenji, and thank you for your support always. Thank you so much. And yes, before concluding, yes, I want to mention whatever Rajiv sir said, that the insight of audit that was scheduled for 11th has been shifted to postponed to 13th of July, and the practical approach that was scheduled on 13 has been preponed to 11th of July. So without fail, students, please try to attend these sessions. It's going to be very helpful. You will be having some more insights. These practical explanation and insights, you will be getting to know more strategies, how to retain things, what are the important areas, and it will help you to plan out your studies in this 45 days. Okay, so do attend these sessions. With these words, I bid goodbye to all of you. Thank you, technical team. With this, we can conclude.